to the School of Sorcery.
Miniaturize!
Hey everybody, what is up? My name is Mackenzie.
And I'm Jonathan.
We are husband and wife, and together we are TerreDice Games.
And today we're introducing to you a new segment, Indies in Between, where sometimes in between our regularly scheduled bi-weekly content, we're gonna bring you an independent publisher's work. This week we've got Dr. Finn's newest game, School of Sorcery.
And just to name a few, Dr. Finn's Games is known for bringing to life games such as Biblios, Cosmic Run, and Herbaceous.
So that's right, School of Sorcery is his newest game, and it is a re-implementation of an out-of-print game that he made, actually Institute for the Magical Arts. And so this game features new design, new art, tweaks to the mechanics, and makes an already good game even tighter.
With all that being said, let's transfigure our way in. The background for the Institute of Magical Arts is you are playing as two senior wizards trying to fill the shoes of the missing headmaster and bring harmony back to the school. The two wizards have very contrasting ideas about what this means to gain the title as headmaster. The wizards must gain the trust of their colleagues and gather up all the magical powers through the tools of the trade as possible. School of Sorcery is a two-player dice and area control game in which players use dice rolls to control crystals onto different cards in an attempt to win those cards. Once won, cards offer combinations of special powers, one-time actions, and victory points. To cast crystals, you're rolling 3 dice and placing them at the corresponding numbered location. Then in secret, you decide how much power to expend on each of the cards. Some of these cast actions allow you to flip the die upside down to cast on the opposite location. You then reveal and place the crystals on the cards. If competing for a particular card with the other player, you must win by a specified margin. Colors of the cards indicate when the card is played, whether immediate, ongoing, or one time. In addition to 5 standard locations, a moving magical portal can be used as an added strategy, allowing you to transport your crystals to any other location. First player to 13 points wins. So, what did you think of School of Sorcery?
School of Sorcery. So we got the game in mid-December and actually had a lot of opportunities to play it over the break and through January. So we made sure that we played with a lot of different play styles to be able to determine how well each of these really worked. So at first look, it's a dice game, so I thought, oh no, there's gonna be a lot of luck, and I started to look at the cards and saw there's a lot of cards that will just randomly add crystals where there's no crystals or do things like that. So I thought, how much is luck really gonna play into this? But as we got into it, it turns out you have quite a bit of control over mitigating that risk. So with the dice, you roll them in initial locations, but you can always re-roll your dice using these tokens, and then you also have cards that cast how many crystals you want to put at each location. So that includes no crystals. So you could put 3 crystals on one and none on another. And then also with the flip cards, those cast cards that allow you to flip the dice, you're able to go to the opposite location, doubling the amount of spaces that you really have control over.
We are lucky enough to have this game sent to us, and it's one of those games, the more I play it, the more I like it, and as I get to dive deeper and deeper into it. And speaking of dice, it's not an all dice and place game. The cards do have extra powers on them that you can try and bid for to win, and those do add an element of surprise or something maybe you didn't see coming, or adds a little bit of extra strategy to the game, which I really like. And yes, one of my favorite parts about this game is the flipping the die action to the other side. I think having to do that in secret so the other partner doesn't know really adds an element to surprise and really can mitigates the luck and puts more of the power back in your hand.
It's really this like 2-stage game where you think that's where they're playing and you sort of know that, but you could be doing a totally separate thing. So it only gives you a hint of what the other player might be up to. So talking about the balance in this game, our scores were usually pretty tight. So you're fighting for 13 points, so it goes by pretty quick, maybe like 20 minutes. But they do give you an option for going for 16 points as well. I found that in the games where I was going for a lot of these ongoing power cards, or I was going for these cards that gave me sort of this ongoing effect, I wasn't super successful in winning just doing that. I found that the games where I focused on getting lots of just raw points, I fight for the big point value cards and I make sure that Mackenzie doesn't win those, was really the strategy that seemed to win most often.
We did try going for red cards to play with that strategy. We also tried going for green cards, where lots of those cards you collect different characters and those help you get points. And then we also tried just going for yellow cards and grabbing some of those and using those powers. But with the amount of time the game is, we found that going for raw points tended to get through those faster. We did, however, try a house rule where we had to add up to 21 points, and that was the final score. And when we did that, Jonathan was actually able to win that game by collecting lots of the green cards, which is where you build up those characters. And he was able to have time to build in that strategy where you weren't just going to win by raw points.
The game also does a good job with catch-up mechanics, so if somebody's behind, it changes the player order of when you get to cast certain powers, letting that player have the last say in where they put their crystals to sort of tip over the edge to win some cards.
So let's move on to my favorite category, theme.
Yeah, so this game definitely has that magical vibe to it where you've got this sort of secret play going on and you're casting crystals and the cards have nice art on them that depict a lot of really cool magical scenes. But other than that, the theming in this game is pretty light.
In the rulebook, it only has a few short lines at the beginning about what the plot actually is. The background we read at the beginning of the video is actually taken from Institute for the Magical Arts, and I can only infer that this has the same backstory for this game, but it doesn't say it specifically in the rulebook. And this might have just been to simplify the game to just get to the core of playing the game, but I'm always a big fan of backstory, and I always want to know why I'm doing something.
Theming is important to us. We like to know with our actions what we're doing, otherwise it just kind of feels like a wizard duel, which there's nothing wrong with that. Cool game, cool mechanics, but I always like to know like, oh, that's why I'm doing that. Yeah, so let's talk about the art and the components in this game.
Yeah, it's really nice and pretty well done. Like, I really enjoy that the cards, they're so easy to pick up and fit really nicely into your hand, and they're easy to take off the table. The card art is very beautiful, and what I really enjoy is that each card has an individual piece of art. So you're gonna be seeing, when you keep playing the game, more and more different types of art is gonna come up into the game, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, my favorite is the card backs on the casting cards. I think those are really, really cool.
Oh yeah,
and have
those are
awesome
really cool.
Symbology. Looks great. Yeah, and another major component in this game is the crystals. So you've got these casting crystals that you're putting onto cards, and I thought, oh gosh, put 5 here, 3 here, 2 here. I thought it was gonna be fiddly, and honestly, they've got this like cool, like jagged edge crystal structure that what's funny about them is when you clump them together with your hands, they actually kind of all stick together, and it makes it really easy to pick them up. So when I gotta move like 5 crystals at a time, it's super easy to do. So they were a very good component for this type of gameplay, and I like them a lot.
My only thought is, I wish that the dice in the game matched the crystals in the game, having that translucent feel, or the dice would just feel more like they fit into the family or the theme of this game. The colors don't match exactly to each player, the orange and the blue, and I wish they just felt more thematic, fitting into those crystals, and maybe with the pips you could change those into stars. While the dice are nice and it does set the game, I think, at a lower cost point, I would have paid a few extra bucks, I think, into upgrading those dice. This game is a really great light 2-player game. It's really great for a couple, especially if you're trying to get, if you're really into games and you're trying to get someone else to play with you or trying to introduce someone to gaming. I think this is a great game to bring in because the rules are fast to learn, and it only takes about 20 minutes to play. So they'll be able to pretty much be self-sufficient and be able to play that game with you.
It's a great filler. It's a great lunchtime game.
Yeah.
What I loved about it, setup is so easy. You just throw it on the table, spread out 5 cards, and you're like good to go. You've got your cast cards, so there's very minimal setup. I also want to say, which was a good indicator with this game, is we played it more times than we needed to review it. So we definitely enjoyed playing this game. You
can pick up this game directly from Dr. Finn's Games website. You can pick it up from Game Nerds, Card House, and Amazon. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other stores that also carry this game as well, so make sure to keep your eye out for School of Sorcery. All right, everyone, and that is our review of School of Sorcery. We really enjoyed this game, and we hope you like it too. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe this video and leave a comment down below. And we'll see you later. Happy playing! Hey!